Hello, everyone. I'm Pam Spaccarotella. Welcome back to another episode of Driver Stories. Today, I'm speaking with two members of our maintenance team who are also former drivers. Steve Ray, our maintenance specialist and inside shop manager, and Brian Harris, our tractor maintenance manager. We'll discuss their career paths leading to LGT, how their experiences as former drivers influence their role today, and get to their top tips for smoother communication between drivers and the shop. With that, let's get started. So we're going to talk about being maintenance. So Steve, we're going to start with you.
Alrighty.
Since you're older, right, and more wiser,
I wouldn't go that far.
and possibly more, what is it, distinguished? Yeah,
Okay.
Long and distinguished career you've had. So let's start at the beginning. You were born in Texas?
Born in Texas,
Where at?
Lubbock, Texas.
Lubbock, Texas. Okay.
My family lived on a farm in Abernathy, Texas, north of Lubbock.
Okay. And what kind of farm?
They did all kinds of stuff, mostly cotton,
Really?
I'd say, probably.
So did you work the farm when you were growing up?
Not really. We moved from there when I was little, but my grandparents still lived up there. So every summer I'd go up there and got to experience a lot of hoeing and in the
Okay.
fields, hoeing the
Yeah.
weeds up.
Did you pick cotton?
A little bit, but
Yeah. What's that like? I heard
it's rough on your hands.
Yeah. That's what I heard.
Yeah, it's real rough on your hands.
Huh. So you left there when? Did you go to high school there?
No, we moved when I was pretty much a baby. Moved to Austin.
Okay.
And my dad worked for the government most of his life.
Okay.
Worked with the governor down there, and then he worked up in Washington, D.C. for a while,
Okay.
while Lyndon Johnson was in office.
Wow. That's really cool, actually. Yeah.
My mom was actually a bridesmaid in Lyndon Johnson's daughter's wedding.
Wow.
So
That's awesome. So where'd you go to high school?
I kind of
Did
went
you?
for a little bit. Or I was enrolled in Lubbock.
Okay.
We moved back up there and went to high school for a little while in Lubbock.
Okay.
And then we moved. I quit
Okay. Fair enough.
and dropped out. And,
Yeah.
then me and my mom, we moved to Lancaster, Texas, outside of Dallas.
Okay.
And I was going to go back to school. And I went up there, and I had long hair and thought it was cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I went up to the high school, told them I wanted to go back to school, and the principal came out and said, well, the first thing you got to do is get a haircut. And being a teenager, I just turned around and walked out. Went and got my GED.
So the choice of school or a haircut,
Yeah.
it's kind of like a purge job. You got to shave or not shave.
Yeah.
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 Kind of that.
But
Definitely.
with a purse job, I'd shave.
Okay. But for high school, we're
And
not
I have.
gonna get a haircut.
I have gone into a plant, and they said, well, you got to shave before you can come in. So I shave it off.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So you must have gone to work then, I'm guessing.
No, I went to work, and then a few years later, I went ahead and went to college for a few years
Okay.
at Abilene Christian University.
And you studied what?
I was in mass communications.
Okay.
I wanted to do like psychology, and I was interested in like TV and radio and stuff. And that was another deal where it didn't go too good. So
Okay.
I ended up not finishing. I was married when I went to college.
Yeah. Life
And-
throws you curveballs, right?
Yeah.
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 So you catch the curveball, and where'd you go next?
Then I just worked ever since.
And when did truck driving start?
Truck driving, got out of the Army in 2001,
Okay.
and I worked as a service manager at a Polaris dealership for a while, and then decided to go drive a truck. And
Did you go to school? Did somebody show
I
you?
went through Schneider's program,
Okay.
and started with them and drove for them for just under a year. And then there was some things that happened while I was at Schneider, and I ended up leaving there and went to Holland Crude Oil.
Okay.
So I was home every night, pretty much.
Wow. All right. So how did you get into cryogenics? When did that start?
A friend of mine, Scotty Hatfield, was hauling cryogenics, and there's a story behind our relationship, but he came by one time and he was telling me, he said, "You need to come do this." He said, "It's great." And he opened up the back of the trailer, and I looked in there and saw the valves and all that stuff, and I was like, no way. Because it's kind of scary. If you've never done it, you look in there and it's like,
overwhelming.
how am I going to learn all that?
Right.
But once you do it, it's not bad at all. But he kept trying to get me to go over there, and he was with another cryogenic company at the time. And I finally decided to go ahead and do it. Because the company I was with, I wasn't doing crude oil then. I went and did a lease purchase program with another company, and it turned out not too good.
Sure.
My average bring home was $300 a week.
Okay.
And so I went ahead and got with Scotty and got on with the company he was with.
Which is?
Jack B. Kelly.
Jack B. Kelly.
Jack B. Kelly.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people that started out there, but
Yeah. Did you ever meet him?
no, he'd passed away before I went
then?
over there.
Okay. So, all right. So then you drove for Jack B. Kelly for,
From 2004 to 2014.
wow. And we all know where you went in 2014.
And that's when I came over here.
Doing the same thing.
Doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I brought the account I was doing with Jack B. Kelly for years. I left Jack B. Kelly and kept driving, doing the same account, and did it for years.
And that would be hauling
Hauling argon
from,
from at the time it was a lot out of Freeport, Texas, and Beaumont, Texas, and I just come up here to Waverly, Nebraska twice a week, and that's 2 loads a week was all I did for years.
Right. And that's what you did when you came here.
And that's what I did when I came here, and I
Yeah.
just didn't miss a beat. I just
Change the flag.
I changed the
Yeah.
changed the stickers on the door and
Yep.
just kept on going.
Yeah. So, 2 years ago now? 3 years ago?
It's a little over 2
A
years.
little over 2 years ago, the truck you were driving needed.
The truck I was driving needed help all the time. It was a good truck, but ended up putting 2 motors in it.
Yeah.
When I got rid of it, it had 1.8 million miles on the truck itself.
Right.
And I got a phone call one day, and you asked me, said, "Have you ever thought about moving to Omaha?" And I was like, "Nope, never crossed my mind."
Yeah, it didn't take you long though.
No,
Yeah.
no, I'd been thinking about getting out of the truck anyway. So
Yeah. By that time, you'd had how many years driving?
from 2001 to 2023.
22 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, driving a truck. So you came up here and came into the office,
Yep.
and you were I don't know, we don't do titles very well up here, but maintenance manager?
I think it said maintenance specialist.
Maintenance specialist. And I'm going to leave it right there, and I'm going to talk to Brian for a minute. We're going to come back to that.
Alrighty.
Okay, so Brian, it's your turn.
Yeah.
So you're from
From Hamburg, Iowa originally.
Hamburg, Iowa. So tell me where that is.
Very southwest Iowa. So right at the border of Missouri, Nebraska, and Iowa.
Okay.
Born and raised.
Yeah.
Family has a farm over in Missouri
Okay.
on about 1,500 plus acres.
Did you work the farm?
Yeah, spent all my summers down there from 8 years on up to 18.
Okay.
So lots of walking beans, detasseling corn, Even worked potatoes for a neighboring farmer. So we'd ship potatoes out in truck.
Huh.
That's where I first started driving a truck.
At the farm.
Yep.
Do you remember the first truck?
Yeah, 1972 Freightliner cab over. No AC, no power steering, a rough riding thing.
Truck driver's dream.
Right.
Right.
Man's truck, right?
So then you graduated from high school down there?
Yes, graduated from high school in
Okay.
Hamburg. A whole big class of 16 people in my class.
16.
Yep. Hamburg only has about a population of 700 right now. So,
Isn't that something?
yeah.
So my son's girlfriend, she's from Pawnee City,
Oh, yeah.
Nebraska.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a similar number of people in her graduating class. She had her class reunion and 9 showed up.
That's about right.
Yeah.
If you can get half of them together, you're doing good.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was fun.
Yeah.
So, did you go to college?
I did. I went to Southeast Community College,
Okay, where's that at?
Milford, Nebraska.
Okay.
So I have an Associates of Applied Science in Agri-Mechanics.
Okay.
So I went for John Deere Diesel is what I went for. So
Okay. So then you have a degree,
I do.
and so then your first job was
Not tractors.
okay.
Found out it didn't pay very well. So after college, I actually worked at a meat packing plant because the money was there.
Wow. Okay.
And then I've got a job because I decided after about 6 months of that, I'm like, this ain't going to work for me for the rest of my life. But it was paying the bills for the time.
Yeah.
So from there, I went to the state of Nebraska. I worked as a fleet maintenance mechanic for about 7 years.
Out of where?
Nebraska City.
Okay. Working on
Everything.
snow plows.
Snow plows, motor graders, track hose, excavators,
Okay.
trucks,
Wow.
tractor trailer combination trucks, everything.
And then you didn't like that.
No, I did.
Okay.
2011 was when I quit because of the
Okay.
flood of 2011.
Okay.
So it was an hour and a half drive one way to work, and I said, I'm not doing this no more, and found something else.
Okay.
From there, I went to Sapp Brothers after the flood ceased.
Okay.
Worked there for about a year, and then got offered a truck driving job because I had my CDL from the state. So I got my CDL actually at the state of Nebraska. Then I got offered a truck driving job hauling pharmaceuticals from Kansas City to Omaha, Lincoln, and then back home every night. So no over-the-road experience, but there's some miles. There's about 700 miles a day doing that run.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you like it?
It was okay. It was nighttime. It was just stressful because you had about $3 million in pharmaceuticals in the back of your trailer every night.
No kidding.
So, yeah, you was always keeping your head on a swivel and watching out for who's behind you.
Wow. Did you ever get pulled over?
Never got pulled over. I did have one instance where I had a car following me, matching pace every time I sped up or slowed down. So I got pulled into an off-ramp by the Missouri Highway Patrol, and that's how I got into the Highway Patrol.
And that was the next job?
Yeah, that was my next job.
Okay, so what'd you do for them?
So I was a commercial vehicle inspector for the Missouri Highway Patrol.
Okay.
About 5 years. I worked from them 2014 to 2019.
Did you like that job?
I did like it. There was a lot of stress, the politics, comes
how
with law
about
enforcement.
roadside inspections and all that kind of stuff?
Yep, roadside inspections. I actually took a lot of hazmat classes for
Okay.
them. So we would go do hazmat enforcement specialist training every year. It was fun. I enjoyed it.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, I mean, I love the people at Missouri Highway Patrol. Absolutely had a blast working there. But again, 2019 in Southwest Iowa, if anybody was driving down I-29, they know that there was a flood.
Wow. Okay.
So it wasn't the fact of not getting to work. It's just the swing shift, of having to work nights one week, days the next. It took a toll on me,
Okay.
mentally, physically. It just wore me out. Got burnt out.
Okay.
So I moved to Omaha.
Okay.
Met my wife.
Yeah.
Worked for Dr. Pepper.
Okay.
5 years there as a, I guess you could say, Cummins specialist. It's That's all they ran was Cummins engines, and worked 5 years for them doing pretty much everything. I mean, all the truck repair, all the maintenance, all the PMs, all of it.
Mm-hmm.
So
And then LGT.
then LGT,
And how did you find out about LGT?
my wife. So
Okay.
I was getting burnout at Dr. Pepper. There's a lot of long hours, a lot of corporate. You know, that's how it's a multi-billion-dollar corporation. You know,
Yeah.
$14 billion a year. There's a lot of corporate stuff that goes on. So talked to my wife, and she found you guys on Indeed
Okay.
and found LGT on Indeed. And I was like, well, I don't know anything about cryogenics.
Yeah.
I don't know nothing about the trailers. But with my agricultural background, actually, I feel like I picked it up fairly quick because of the plumbing, the piping. It all collates.
Yeah.
The safety the aspect is the only difference. So,
So you first came over here and you were in the shop,
right.
and then I think it was the first of this year
It was November 23.
that you started in the
I
shop.
started in the shop. Yep.
And the first of this year you started in the office.
Yep. First this year I came in the office.
Right. And so the two of you are in the office together.
Right.
We are.
The band of brothers.
So we have actually very similar backgrounds, right?
There's some farming in there.
There's farming, there's truck driving,
Yep.
you know, and then there's the maintenance piece of it, right? And both of you actually bring a lot to the table, and it was kind of an interesting transition when you guys both came into the office. It was like, okay, how are we going to divvy this up, and how is it split? And right now, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're doing the trailers and the inside shops.
Brian's doing the trailers.
Brian's
Or
doing,
no, I'm doing the trailers.
Yeah.
you're doing
And
the
the
trailers,
inside.
and Brian's doing the road breakdown and the
And truck.
tractors,
Yep.
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And we kind of help each other.
Help each other.
Yeah, so we work together.
Yeah,
It's the
very well,
It's the
actually.
epitome of teamwork makes the dream work.
Teamwork makes dream work. That's right. Okay, so I'm going to ask you some other questions then, mainly about maintenance, right? Because I think it's always interesting to hear, you know, people's backgrounds and what they bring to the table. Because a lot of times we just are so busy in our daily lives, we don't spend time getting to know one another. It's one of the things that I like talking to drivers as they come through the office is, where are they from? What do they do? You know, and I'm always surprised by something. But you made the move into the maintenance roles directly from driving.
Right.
And so how was that transition for you? Was it easy? Hard?
It was kind of hard because as far as the technology part of it, like as far as the computer work and stuff like that, you know, it's when I came in here, Christian was like, well, how good are you on a computer? And I was like, well, I can open an email and I can close it. I can delete it, but that's about it. But learning the computer part of it and all that stuff was difficult, and it's still difficult at times learning the new stuff. But as far as, I think it's a little better since I was a driver, because when a driver comes in, I know what they're talking about. It's easier for me to understand what their problem is.
Yeah. Yeah. How do they tell you? Just out of curiosity.
Some of them are pretty good about it,
Uh-huh.
and some of them are a little grumpy about it, and trying to explain things that, you know, have a driver call in and say, well, the pony motor's leaking. And like, well, what is it leaking? And I had one driver tell me, I don't know, I'm not a mechanic.
Right.
Yeah, there's times you gotta
So-
pry it out of them.
Sometimes it's difficult trying to understand exactly what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, we normally work through it and figure it out.
Yeah. And one of the things I always remember about when we first interviewed Brian was you had said, well, I want to do more.
Yeah.
Right? So when you came over, you were in the shop
Right.
turning wrenches, right?
Right,
That's
right.
what Dave calls it, turning wrenches. He says, I was turning wrenches today. And I was like, okay. That means you were under a car somewhere. But But you wanted to come into the office. That was
Well, I wanted
something you wanted
yeah.
to achieve,
I,
right?
I wanted to grow with the company. I wanted to be at a place where I felt comfortable, family environment, and I wanted to be able to grow with the company. So that was my main goal with finding a new career.
Right.
And it did speed up a little bit. I think you said
Yeah.
5 years or so. He
Yeah.
wanted to move
Yeah.
into the office.
Yeah,
but-
it did. It's around here. Everything speeds up, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of so I've delivered cryogenics before. I'm not saying I'm an expert, right? But I would be one of those people where I would be calling you and say the pony motor doesn't start, and then you are trying to help me. You can't see what I see, right? And you're trying to figure out, okay, well, why won't it start, right? So now these days the engine has a little code on it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Is that the first thing you guys ask? What's the code?
No, trailer number. That way we know if it has that code or not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Trailer number. And how do you remember that? Is it in your head? Is it
Pretty much.
Pretty
Yeah.
much.
It's
by
just,
the number?
by the number we can tell what series, what kind of system operates the engine.
Okay. And so then what so we're gonna just take this one little example Pam comes up with. The pony motor won't start. And so I remember when we first got started, somebody kept saying, well, did you tap on it? And I was like, what am I tapping on? Right?
Yeah.
Do pictures help? I mean, how do
Pictures.
you do that when somebody's trying to tell you what's happening out there?
Pictures do help. Pictures help, but a lot of times pictures and videos are good. But
Okay.
the difference between the iPhone and the Android phone, sometimes the video's all grainy and you can't really tell what you're looking at. We get a lot of drivers say, well, you'll be on the phone with them and they'll say, listen to this. And so you're trying to hear the noise that they're talking about. And that's real difficult sometimes because through the phone you can't really tell what the noise is.
Mm-hmm.
And so it gets complicated trying to figure out what's going on sometimes.
It's just a lot of back and forth questions. I think pictures help more than anything. But a lot of back and forth questions trying to understand the noises it's making. What kind of, is it clicking? Is it trying to crank or what's it doing?
Uh-huh.
Those kind of descriptive words kind of set off alarms in my head saying, okay, it could be this, It's just I guess I have a database of stuff filed back in there somewhere in my head that I just sort through.
So are there more problems that are more common than others?
Yes.
Like what?
Batteries.
Batteries and wiring.
Yeah.
Are the most common
And
problems?
connections, battery connections,
And so if that is how can a driver tell you, how can they help you explain, right? Not only pictures, right? Obviously not being able to hear, but what is it that you wish the driver would say the most? Do you want them to give you a code? Do you want them to say, hey, how specific do they need to be? I mean, if you were trying to explain to a driver, these are the things that can help me help you better, what would that be?
being specific is a big part of it.
Okay.
Like exactly when is the problem occurring?
Okay. As in, are you loading? Are you unloading?
Right,
Are
depending
you-
on what the problem is. It's, is it during loading? Is it after you engage the clutch? Is it in the middle of pumping? Does
Okay.
it start off right from the beginning as soon as you start the motor?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Details mean a lot. I mean, the fine details helps us to disseminate, what's what could be what, that sort of thing. So the more details they can give us, the better off it is at all times. I'm kind of like with Steve, a time frame as to when the problem starts happening is very helpful. Yeah.
So when a driver calls you, then how does maybe let's talk about this for a minute. When they call 8 to 5, how do the phones work? Who are they going to get? What do they do?
What's 8 to 5, Steve?
You know what I mean,
I've heard
right?
bankers
I
talk
mean, I'm a
about
new
that.
driver and I'm, making a delivery. My driver trainer's left me and now I'm having problems. What do I do?
You call in and when you call in, all our desk phones go to our cell phones. So,
Okay.
I mean, even if we're not sitting at our desk, we still get the phone call. And normally
Did they dial maintenance? Did they dial dispatch?
they call maintenance.
They call the maintenance.
Maintenance or breakdown.
So it's the 800 number, and then they listen to a recording, and I think it's number 5.
On option 5.
Option 5 is maintenance, and that goes to either your desk or your cell phone
Right.
for either one of you.
And it goes,
Christian,
and
right?
Christian.
Okay. And then,
So like if I see it's not, if I'm doing something and
Okay.
I hear my phone ringing, if it keeps ringing a couple of times, I know, either Brian's busy and it's the same way with all of us. If it rings a couple of times, then the other people are doing something and you grab it.
okay. And so then they get a hold of somebody, and you talk through what the issue is.
Right.
So let's say you fix it, go on to the next delivery, but let's say you can't fix it. What do you do next?
If you can't walk them through possibly fixing it, then we find either a road service or a shop close by, preferably a shop close by that they could go to. Because one of the things that I worry about a lot of times is, a driver will call in and have a problem and they want road service to come out. Well, that gets costly.
Yeah, we're trying to watch the bottom line.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. Sometimes what I ask if they're connected.
Yeah.
I always ask if they're connected, if they've cooled the pump down, how far in the process they are.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And that's kind of helps me gauge, should I bring somebody to them,
Right.
or should I ask them if they can go someplace else? I also try to figure out how complex the problem is.
Right. If it's real complex, then a lot of times road service isn't going to be able to take care of it.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
it's better to have them go to a shop.
Right.
Especially if it's with the piping or the cold end of things.
Yeah.
It can definitely get complicated there, and road service ain't gonna know
Right.
or have parts.
Right. Both of those things.
Yep.
Sometimes the shop is a long ways away.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of a judgment call, really, as to where the driver is, how far in the process, how far is the shop.
If it's something a shop will, a lot of shops won't look at the cold end stuff. They don't want to touch it.
Right.
And so you have to keep that in mind.
Hmm.
Do
you use the same vendors all the time?
A lot of places we know vendors in that certain area, and we
Okay.
know that they've worked with us before and they treat us good and all that stuff, and are willing to work on the pony motor or the cold end.
Okay. What happens to a call after hours?
Normally, dispatch will try to take care of it,
Okay.
and if they can't take care of it, then they call one of us
Okay.
all hours of the night.
The
Yeah.
night.
Yep.
Yeah.
All hours of the night, all on the weekends. Although I heard you guys might be doing a trade-off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
we're working on it.
working on a schedule where we can rotate.
So one person gets the calls on a certain week, right?
Right. But you run into, most drivers have our numbers,
Right.
our cell phone number.
Okay.
And so a lot of drivers, if they do have a problem, they skip dispatch and they just call our cell phone number.
And is that okay?
Yeah,
I mean, it's
I don't
okay.
mind it.
Yeah.
Okay, because you don't have a life?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
It's like I get drivers calling me on trucks because they know I can access the information
Right.
24/7. And Steve, they call him for trailers because he knows he already has the information in his head.
Okay. So you read the codes.
Right.
Yeah, so do you have a program? Is it PeopleNet that reads the codes? Is it Cummins? Is it Peterbilt?
Yeah, all of them.
All of them?
So, with PeopleNet, they can read the codes, and it'll read all the codes.
Can the driver see them?
Drivers should be able to see them on their tablets.
On their tablets?
Yes.
Is it a special place in the tablet?
I don't know exactly. It's fault code. I do know that. Do you remember, Steve?
I don't remember offhand. no.
Okay. Okay, but you can see it in PeopleNet,
Yeah.
but most of the time, like when we first had Cummins, you could go into their app and see what was happening in the fault code. Is that
Yeah.
where you're going mostly, or what
so
are you doing?
what I do is the PACCAR Solutions.
Okay.
So PACCAR's given us a website we have access to. It also shows me GPS location, the real-time data of the ECM operations. Shows me live data that I can actually see how the engine was running when that fault code got set.
Okay.
It helps me to pretty much diagnose within about 5 minutes as to what that code is saying, and tells me, yes, this is the problem. It's a sensor failure. It's just a programming issue, what the case may be, how severe it really is.
Okay.
So
And it also gives you the closest 3 Peterbilt.
yes, that too.
Oh, that's nice. Closest 3 Peterbilts.
Yes,
Okay. Does that include Kenworth or just Peterbilt?
if you can toggle it to Kenworth, yes,
Huh. Interesting. Your specialty is diesel.
yes,
So if a driver has a problem with the tractor, you're probably the likely choice.
right.
So for just out of curiosity, are there any issues with the current set of tractors that are more common?
Yeah, there is one code that popping up. It's for the after treatment.
Okay.
It's a differential pressure sensor. The more the truck idles, like just on a purge job or whatever the case may be, the more apt that sensor is to fail, because it'll get plugged up with soot, moisture, shorts it out. It needs to be replaced.
Okay. Does that code tell you when it's going to derate?
Yes,
And
it tells you it's usually 239 minutes is the starting number,
okay.
and then it of course goes down from there. But it also tells you at 1 hour it's going to go to a 25% derate, or
Okay.
at 2 hours it's going to go to a 40% derate. It tells you the steps that process is going to take.
Okay.
So it
Is it accurate?
pretty accurate.
Okay.
But there
So
has
if I have a problem with my truck and you're telling me I'm going to derate in 4 hours, I better be at a truck repair facility before that 4
or
hours
close
is up.
or close.
Okay.
But then again, there's the programming issue I was talking about. That for whatever reason, there's a hiccup between the communication of the vehicle modules, and so the vehicle ECU is what controls the actual tractor. Then the engine control modules, the ECM controls the engine. Those two don't communicate all the time very well.
Okay.
It's like step siblings fighting.
Okay.
The communication between them, there's a hiccup sometimes, and one or the other may need to be updated, and it gives a false derate.
Oh, okay.
So that has happened a few times, especially with the technology getting better, bigger, stronger. The future is going towards over-the-air updates and being able to update these ECMs and the vehicle modules, vehicle electrical control modules, over the air, that we can send a signal to the truck, and when the truck shuts down, it'll automatically update.
Mhm.
And so that technology is getting put into place in the trucks now, and that's what's creating that hiccup sometimes between the communication of the two. Because Cummins is trying to protect their side of technology, and PACCAR is saying, hey, we need access to that, but we're not going to give you access to ours. So that hiccup in between the two, it's interesting.
Yeah. All right, let's switch gears and talk about preventative maintenance. Most of the time we talk about road breakdown because that's always near and dear to our heart, right? It's just a regular everyday occurrence, I think. But preventive maintenance, right? Oil changes, right? Oil changes let's talk about trucks first. How do you guys track those?
Now we use TMT.
Okay.
The
And
Trimble,
how does that track it?
it tracks it by the mileage. So at I think it's 45,000 miles, we have the parameters set up to notify us that it's due.
Okay.
And at 5,000 miles or 50,000 miles, it's overdue. So it uses utilization percentage, so it tells you how much percentage is left of that miles before it is actually due.
You think, just outside of the warranty issue, is it worth it? Preventative maintenance?
Oh,
It is extremely worth
yes.
it.
Okay. And why?
If you don't doing preventive maintenance, it's going to find the problems it's going to take care of the problems, most problems, before they happen. And if you're doing your preventative maintenance like we do the 90-day inspections, and that's to catch things before they become a problem. I mean, we have, drivers that they'll call in and saying their trailer pony motor's running bad or their truck motor's running bad, and you pull it up and see they're overdue on having the fuel filters changed. And that's one of the big problems is the fuel filters.
Okay.
People not doing it in time. And then, like on a truck, the fuel filter gets clogged, and then, they take it into a Peterbilt, and it's just because of the fuel filter, and it ends up being a $1,500 bill. They could have been prevented by just changing the fuel filter when it was supposed to have been changed.
Okay. So how do you notify people that they need to have their oil changed, or how do you notify them that the trailer needs serviced?
If it's coming up on due, we try to catch it like if they come through the yard. All the yards normally, when the trailer comes in, we do the yard checks every morning and look up to see what's due on it or what's coming due on it. We try to take care of it while it's there.
Okay. What about if it never comes to the office?
It's a phone call.
And it's a phone call.
Okay. So you get something that tells you, hey, this is past due, and you reach out.
Right, yeah.
Okay. What's your favorite part of the job?
Mine's just talking with the drivers, just getting the opportunity to get to know
Okay.
them. We got a lot of good people working for us, and it's really a pleasure to get to know them. It really is.
Okay.
And the people in the office.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you learn something new every day?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's a interesting industry to be in because there's always something new happening. And
Yeah. What's the worst part about it?
There's a lot of stress sometimes. Trying to, like from the breakdown aspect of things, because you'll have 2 or 3 people call at the same time, and you want to help them all. So it's that self-induced stress more than anything.
Okay.
But yeah, other than that, it's a great job. Love it.
it does get hectic sometimes with multiple things going on at one time, and driver might get upset because you didn't get right back with them. Well, you're working on 4 other problems at the same time you're trying to help them, and so it gets a little hectic sometimes.
Yeah.
Wish you could clone yourself 5 or 6 times over,
Yeah, but then there's other times where you don't have anything going on,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So, not saying that's
When-
very often, but.
When is that?
It does happen sometimes.
So one of the other things you are both in charge of is PeopleNet.
Yes.
PeopleNet.
Yep.
Yep. So are the trucks pre-wired anymore?
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
No.
So you guys, when the new truck comes in, you're installing all the wiring and everything in the truck for the PeopleNet unit, correct?
We the guys plug into the data connector in the truck,
Uh-huh.
and then run the wires to the DSN box, which connects to the tablet, and then we also run the dash cameras, and we do run all the wires for the dash cameras.
Okay. So do you get calls about the PeopleNet isn't working, or who gets the calls about their ELDs not working?
It varies. Sometimes they'll call into dispatch, sometimes they'll call into safety, and then it normally comes to us so we can try to figure out what's going on with it.
Okay. So we have shops outside of Omaha. We have one in West Sacramento, and who works there?
Eric works out
Good old
there.
Eric Smith.
Eric Smith works out there, right? And and we have another one in Jackson.
Jackson, Tennessee. Donnie and James.
Donnie and James are there.
Yeah.
Okay. Toledo.
And Toledo is Mike Jones.
Okay.
Mr. Mike Jones.
And then we have we have our terminal in Baytown.
Right.
Those are the 5 locations that I'm aware of where we service. And the rest of the stuff is actually done outside shops.
Yeah, Loves,
On the road with
TA,
Loves, TA.
local shops, whatever we can, And there's a lot of drivers that got mechanics around that they trust, So we do a lot of that too.
Okay. If a driver has a preference for a particular vendor, do we usually say, okay, what do we do there?
It depends on the vendor.
Yeah.
Okay.
It depends on the vendor, and sometimes we have problems with vendors, either overcharging or not fixing stuff right, and then we kind of steer away from them.
Mm-hmm. It's hot right now.
Yes.
It's really hot. It's actually been a nice couple of days here in Omaha, the last 2 days.
It hasn't been too bad.
I heard yesterday was the nicest day that it was going to be. In the winter, it's really easy to say, oh, you need to put anti-gel in your, engine or in your fuel system, and you need to have these things on hand and blah, blah, blah. But in the summer, is there specific problems that are unique to summer?
Yeah.
Like what?
Algae.
Algae?
Mm-hmm.
Algae where?
So the fuel today
Okay.
has a percentage of biodiesel in it. That biodiesel is prone to creating an algae. So with the hotter temperatures, it grows faster. So it can actually plug filters up faster. It can cause failures in your fuel system, such as fuel pumps, especially in the pony motors. It can get in that little bitty fuel pump and just plug it up and make it burn up.
So you have a lot of problems with that at this time of the year?
We see some.
Okay.
It's maybe 5%, but there is that chance for it.
Huh.
We've seen it in brand new trucks.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
it's just the type of fuel that's being ran today. It's just a hazard doing business.
Okay, so here's some other questions for you. The carb stuff out there in California, do you guys get involved in that, or what's happening out there?
I'm trying to understand it.
Okay.
I'm trying to learn it all because I actually ask Eric a lot
Okay.
what it entails.
And
And he's trying to teach me.
okay.
So
Should if a driver's heading to California that hasn't been out there before, should they call us? What kind of advice do we give them?
well, they should, especially if they're going to go to the port and
Yeah,
need
but-
that clean truck check. Because if they've had fault codes, I think
Okay.
in the last 6 cycles of hot and cold, it won't allow it to pass.
Do they hook up to the truck
Yes, they run everything through the ECM and computer and check all the histories.
at the port?
Well, at the place where they get the clean truck check so they can get into the port.
Okay, so without a little decal, they can't get into the port.
Right,
And to get the decal, they have to run a clean truck check.
right,
And if they have fault codes, they don't get it.
right.
And do they clear the fault codes, or what? How do they clear them and then get the new?
It's apparently what I understand, it's a 6 cycle of hot and cold.
Okay.
So it's got to be warmed up, cooled off 6 times before it'll allow it to pass. So that hot and cold cycle allows those fault codes to reappear
Okay.
or to stay away.
But if you're not going into the port, is there any other place in California where you need that clean truck check?
I don't think so.
So it's just the ports.
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Because I think a lot of our trucks are new enough that for just general California carb, I think it's okay.
One of the other things that you guys are involved in is parts. We haven't really talked about parts, but we do have Jason.
Yep.
That
Thank
works.
God.
Thank God. Thank God for Jason, if you're listening. Jason, and now we have Garrett, are both here in Omaha. And if you're having trouble finding parts, Jason can also help, correct?
Right.
And how does that work with you guys then?
A lot of times, if a driver needs something, we'll let Jason know. A lot of times, me or Brian will see if we can find it or source it. And if we can't, then we get Jason to jump in with his magic and see what he can do.
Okay. Sometimes I did not realize until a couple of years ago that if I call Peterbilt in Omaha, Nebraska and ask them for a part, they're only going to search their network. They're not going to search. There's no national network.
Right.
So like Rush Peterbilt might have the part, but they're not going to call Rush Peterbilt.
Right.
Right. So yeah, what Omaha Peterbilt, all they would check is the Packard system and their system. That's it.
Right. So that's the beauty of Jason, is Jason can call a variety of different places. So if you're at a shop and they say, well, we can't get the parts, it's possible that they've only checked their system.
Right.
So it's always worth a phone call for the parts,
Yep.
right?
If we still can't find it then we'll call GTG and get with them, and
Yeah.
they've helped us out a few times on searching,
Good.
finding stuff.
Okay.
At least saved a lot of downtime with it anyway.
Yeah. It's important,
Yeah.
right? Whether you're company or owner operator.
Yeah.
Right? It's lost money, lost opportunity. ABS lights.
They can be a nightmare sometimes.
Yeah.
And one of the big problems we have with trailers is they go into a shop and they hook it up, and quite a few times they say, well, it's the ECU. It needs to be replaced. And they just jump to that. Well, it's $3,000 to $4,000 to replace it.
Mm-hmm.
And probably 9 times out of 10,
Yeah, I'd say 9.
9 times out of 10, it's not the ECU. It's an air leak that they didn't find.
Yeah. Or a sensor. Just,
Right. So they need a call. When it's an ABS issue, they need a call before they replace an ECU.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. I had one other thing I want to ask you guys. Sorry.
Pumps.
No, pumps are.
Yeah, pumps.
Well, let's talk about pumps for a minute, right? Because you know, a lot of times, I'm going to talk for a few minutes. A lot of times when we put a new driver on and we do driver training, we'll train them in nitrogen, but we won't train them in oxygen or argon, or we won't train them in CO2, right? And so I don't think we ever communicate, right? If your pump's leaking with a nitrogen trailer and it's just a small leak, it can wait. Keep going until you get your time off. Bring the trailer in. Let us know. And sometimes those seals will actually reseat themselves and the leak will go away. But an oxygen trailer that's leaking should not be used,
right.
right? It absolutely should not be used. And so if you're listening to the podcast and you haven't done oxygen but you've only done nitrogen, somehow we need to make sure the driver knows that it's that there's a difference, right? The other thing is the pumps, right? We swap them, right? We don't rebuild them the way we do CO2 pumps,
Right.
Right.
right? So very different. You know, it's usually a ACD pump, I think, on the cryogenic side, but it's a Blackmer pump on the CO2 side, which is
Right.
also, I believe, the same pump we use for ammonia
Yes.
Mhm.
and
propane.
propane. So, did you guys have any ammonia or propane experience before you started here?
I did not.
I say just my ammonia was on the farm. you
Right.
know, the nurse tanks, stuff like that.
Yeah. So was that a hard learning curve? I mean, how did that? No.
Not really. It's the same theory as a nurse tank, just bigger.
Okay.
So it's all pretty much the same, just bigger.
And
And
more,
you have the hazard.
more hazardous.
Yeah.
Right. So hoses have to be, you know, the right hoses connected to the right trailer.
As far as the pumps, like on the nitrogen, on the cryo trailers, one of my biggest deals that I try to stress to new drivers coming in is cool the pump down. Everybody wants to get in a hurry
Yeah.
and get going. They don't want to wait for the pump to cool down. And that's probably the biggest damage factor on the cryo pumps.
It's not just cooling it down, but it's also when you stop pumping.
Right. You do not want to run it dry.
Right. So
I know a
two
lot of
pieces to it, right?
our drivers will go sit in a truck and doing their paperwork or whatever, and the products, it's unloaded, but the
Yeah.
pump's still sitting there running with nothing running through it. It just burns them up.
We've seen a few of those lately too.
Yeah. So my and I'll ask you guys this, but my advice that I would always give a brand new driver is to remember that the trailer that they're with makes them money.
And you got to take care of the moneymaker.
You got to take care of the moneymaker. And if that means an extra 5 to 10 minutes of cool down, right? Or if that means that you nurse something that might be an issue for a little while, or maybe you spend a little time, just trying to learn how it works and where the starter is or the alternator, or those little things will carry you a long way. And if you break down over the road, it's very costly.
And you're not going to run to Love's and get a cryo pump.
You're not going to run the Loves for cryo.
Or any auto parts store, you're not going to get anything
or
for
liquid
anything.
level gauge,
Right.
or something like that. So I always try to preach to them that is just remember, you can't make money unless that trailer is running. And what that also means is when you go home and you drop the trailer at the terminal, that you make sure you give a list of what's wrong, so that while you're off, the trailer can be fixed, so that when you're ready to go, the trailer's ready too.
That's right.
So
Or even if you're dropping it at a yard and you're not picking that trailer back up, you need to let somebody know what's going on with it so the next driver doesn't run into problems.
yes, but you never know if you're going to get that trailer back or not.
Yeah.
Most times we try to give you back the same trailer you had, if we can. So would you give any other advice besides that?
Kind of about the same as you. 5 to 30 minutes of extra time could save you days in the long run.
Save you days. Absolutely.
Try to get it taken care of while you're on your 34 or on your home time.
Yeah.
I'd much rather get stuff taken care of while I'm planning to be off than be forced to be off on the road getting something fixed.
Right.
Notes and details so you don't forget what was wrong helps too.
It does.
Just pass it along.
Mm-hmm. And they can pass it on however they need to. Text message, emails, PeopleNet messages. There's an electronic DVIR you can fill out. It doesn't matter how you send it to us. We just need to get it because we're not there and we don't know how it's working.
Yep.
Yeah. Drivers are our eyes and feet on the ground.
They are.
We're just the ears in the office.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
That's the way I look at it.
Yeah. Would you tell your kids to be mechanics?
I think everybody ought to have
Depends
a
on the
little
kid,
bit.
I
I think it's good for them to have a little mechanical experience
Okay.
so they can know what's going on. And they're not dependent on even taking their own vehicle to a shop when it's something you could just take care of and save yourself several $100s.
Okay. How about you, Brian?
Yeah.
Would you?
I think that since we have a lot of kids at home, there's a few of them that I think would be great mechanics. One of them is actually being a mechanical engineer at the moment, which
Okay.
is along
That's
the same
awesome.
lines. So it's like,
Yeah.
okay. But I think, that they pay attention to the details. It depends on the person. Mechanics isn't just about going out and getting greasy. It's about paying attention to the details, being able to follow directions. There's a lot of stuff involved in mechanics. So, some of the kids, yes.
Yeah.
Some of them, no.
And it's a pretty good career because stuff's just going to keep breaking. Somebody's got to fix it.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to fix it. I want to thank you, Brian and Steve, for being here today and talking about your careers and letting everybody out there know a little bit more about what it is that you do day in and day out to help them
Thank you
do
for
their
having
jobs.
Thank you for having us.
All right.
Thank you for giving us the career.
Right.
I didn't do that. You did that. That wraps up this episode of Driver Stories. If you enjoyed the podcast, please be sure to follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. For more information on LGT, you can visit lgttransport.com and follow us on all social media platforms. Also, check out our YouTube channel for more maintenance tips and insights. See you on the next episode of Driver Stories.